It's Raider Week in Chiefs Kingdom as Kansas City takes on Las Vegas for the first time this year with a shot at a 7-0 start on the line. The Chiefs took a major step forward in the red zone last week, scoring touchdowns on 4 of 5 red zone opportunities. And that's a big deal because the red zone had been an area this offense had struggled through the first 5 weeks of the season. They only scored touchdowns on 39% of red zone opportunities going into Sunday's game, near the very bottom of the NFL. So that was good news and a great thing to see. It's interesting though, because outside of the red zone, the Chiefs' offense, relative to the rest of the NFL, has actually been pretty effective and efficient this season. There's a stat called successful plays, and it's very complicated, but basically what it means and what it measures is how many yards you're gaining relative to how many yards you need on whatever down. And the Chiefs lead the NFL in this category at 57.6%. It basically means that nearly 60% of the time, the Chiefs are moving the football effectively. And that's interesting because when you pair that with the red zone efficiency we saw last week, good things happen. And the offense also got better this week with the acquisition of future Pro Football Hall of Famer wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who leads the NFL in numerous categories since 2013. Targets, catches, receiving yards, receiving first downs, and catches of at least 25 yards. He's an awesome player who's a chain mover on third down and a red zone target who's going to help this team right away, in my opinion. If you look at his career numbers, 70% of his career receptions have gone for either a first down or a touchdown. He has a career drop rate of just 3% on more than 1,400 career targets, and he was effective last season. He caught 75 passes for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns on an offense where everybody knew he was getting the football. So we'll see how much he can do right now in the short term, but over the second half of the season, this is a big deal for the Chiefs offense. Now they'll look to move the ball on Sunday against a Raiders defense that currently ranks 29th in the NFL in scoring. It's a little bit more nuanced than that though, because the Raiders have been on the field a lot defensively this year, 81 times, 4th most of any team in the NFL. And their offense has often put their defense in some pretty bad spots too, because the average starting field position for the opposition against the Raiders defense is the 35-yard line, worst in the NFL. So that's impacted the numbers quite a bit. One area they've been very good though is third down. This is the number 2 third down defense in the NFL, allowing conversions at only a 28.9% clip. So something to know going into this game. And one of the main reasons they've been so good on third down is Maxx Crosby. Crosby is one of the top pass rushers in the NFL, and he's having another great year. He has 23 pressures, 11 quarterback hits, and 6.5 sacks on the season. You just got to know where Crosby is at all times. But I mentioned the average starting field position for the Raiders' opponents this year, the 35-yard line, worst in the NFL. Well, that's because Las Vegas has committed 16 giveaways this season, most in the league. They also are minus 13 in terms of turnover differential, worst in the NFL, and opponents have scored 59 points off those giveaways, most in the NFL. That all sets up nicely for a Chiefs defense that forced 3 giveaways just last week and has held each of their last 4 opponents under 20 points. But if the Chiefs start to turn in a similar defensive performance on Sunday, they got to find a way to slow down rookie tight end Brock Bowers, who's off to a great start to his young career. He has 47 catches this season, second most of any player across the NFL, for 477 yards. He's been explosive. He has 5 catches of at least 25 yards, and no matter who's at quarterback for the Raiders, they're looking his way. He averages nearly 9 targets per game. So these guys will be a challenge. The Chiefs can't take them lightly despite their 2-5 record, but there's nothing quite like Raider Week in Chiefs Kingdom as Patrick Mahomes aims to move to 19-1 on the road against divisional opponents for his career.